So thanks to the gifts of a couple of friends, I have a project to work on. I'm essentially assembling a Stratocaster. I got a body and a neck and a bunch of the hardware from one friend of mine, and then a Silver Sky SE from PRS. I got a loaded pickguard with all of its electronics, and so we're kind of Frankensteining together this thing, and I'll just kind of show you some of the process there. I'm really excited to work on this. All right, don't mind the messy garage behind me, but step one here is going to be sanding this paint off, because you can see it's super scuffed up over here because the last owner tried to started sanding the paint off of this, but I think I'm just going to take it down to a natural wood finish because I really like that look, and I guess we're just going to get to it. So, the daylight has gone. It is now dark out, but here's what the body's looking like right now. All of the sanding is done. It's very smooth. I am very, very happy with this. I didn't bother sanding out the cavity for the tremolo and for the pickups and electronics and everything, because really, what's the point? It's all getting covered up anyway. But I am really, really happy with how this has come out. And I'm not going to paint it, actually. I really like the raw wood that's on here. And it is all one piece, which for a Squire is kind of impressive. I mean, I don't really know too much about how they're making them these days. This is an older one, all one piece. But I'm really happy with how this has turned out. Even though, man, sanding in the horns of a Strat, so obnoxious. It's obnoxious. And it is a little rough in some of those spots, but I'm okay with that. I don't need to look perfect. I just need it to look good. Good enough. So, but I think I'm going to put a clear coat on this, and then we'll get to the rest of the assembly stuff. Alright, day 2 of this Partscaster project. Here's what the body's looking like right now. There's definitely a lot of scuff marks on the back that I would have to sand away a lot of wood to get rid of some of these. But overall, it looks really pretty, other than where I kind of sanded a little too much into the wood a couple of places. But overall, I think this is looking really pretty. The finish has kind of gone on a little rough, that clear coat. You might be able to see that, I'm not sure. But all I'm going to do is take this super fine grit sanding block and just sand that clear coat down a little smoother, get some of that old sawdust off there. And then I think we'll be good to start installing the electronics and the neck and everything on it. Okay, I think the sanding block and the orbital sander have done their work for this project. This has turned out super well. I've done a little bit of refinishing work before, but this has turned out really well. By a little bit of refinishing work, I mean I stripped a guitar neck once, and I stained my old pedal board. But this has just turned out super well. I'm also super happy to see that this is just a solid block of wood. It would have been interesting to see what I could do if it was, you know, the 3 pieces kind of put together like a lot of bodies are. But it's just one solid block, and I think that's really cool. So now, oh boy. Now it's time to get into this bag of hardware. Now this bag of hardware did previously look much more chaotic than this, because the pickups were in here, and if you know anything about how pickups work, they're magnetic. And that means everything's stuck to them. But I took the pickups out, and I got all the stuff off of them. They're over there now. So now, we assemble the tremolo system, somehow, I hope. Okay, I know you can't see my face, but that's okay, that's not really what's important. I've YouTubed this. But YouTube, I mean, I went on Fender's, official page. They had, very conveniently, a very convenient tutorial on how to do both styles of Strat. Both on how to... Fender had very easy to follow tutorials on how to install both types of Strat trims, the vintage and the modern. This, I believe, is a vintage. It looks like it's supposed to be a 5-point trim. You can see there are 5 notches there. I have 4 springs, and typically they're done with 3, so I think what I'm going to do is set it up with 3, like people usually often do. But we'll see. I need my screwdriver. Now, unfortunately, we have all of the screws for this whole guitar in this Ziploc bag, and so we're going to have to find which one it is. They're pretty big screw holes. It might be these. Oh my gosh, am I going to get this on the first try? Yep, that's too long. Okay, it's not that screw. That feels like the right size. Width-wise. Let's hope I didn't just destroy everything about this guitar. Because that size screw feels right. Like, that size around. Okay, whatever those screws are, we have 2 of them. I don't think it's this. Right? Maybe? I have no point of reference. I have to just try screws. Oh, you know what? No, I think these are the neck screws. Yeah. But we do have more of them, which is interesting. Because there shouldn't be more of them. Oh wait, you know what? Okay, that's a strap lock. Great. Awesome. Strap peg. I'm sure this is riveting to watch right now. Why are there 6 of these? 4 for the neck and 2 for the trem system, maybe? Maybe. I'm gonna stop recording and Google it. Alright, so the tremolo is assembled. I'll show you that a little later. But what I realized is the neck screws are missing, as are my keys, apparently. I think I must have sat them down in the garage. The neck screws are missing. They're not in the bag of parts and hardware that I had. So I guess we're gonna... I found out exactly what size they need to be. And I found out that Lowe's, my keys, has them in stock for like $1.50 for 6. And they are, I got confirmation during my Googling, the same size as the ones that you use for the trem claw. But I only had 2 and I needed 6. So we're going to the store to get more screws. Okay, we've got the screws, and now it is back to the garage to continue assembling this thing. We're getting to the point where I'm gonna need to track down the household soldering iron so that I can get the electronics put in and install the output jack, because it's the only thing that's not on a loaded Strat pick guard. Whoop. Almost got hit in this parking lot. That's okay, we're fine. All right, so the tremolo system is installed. It was in fact the same screws for the neck and the trem claw, but it was those big long ones and I only had 2 of them. So the neck screws were gone. So I went and I got some screws that I'm pretty sure I just sat down inside. Oh no, they're in my pocket. Got them. Ha. We'll use those for the neck, but you can see trem systems in there. Boom, nice and tight. We've got some movement there. Yep, we've got a working trem system. And like I said earlier, I used 3 springs in the back. I also put the back plate on. I'm, I think, very firmly a back plate guy. When it comes to Strat trims. I do have 1 more spring. Like I showed earlier, it was a 5-point, it had like 5 points on the claw, but most Strat trim systems, people just like to use 3. So I just used 3 of them and put them on there like that, and I think that'll work just fine. Put that back in there. But now, we're pretty much up to the electronics, I think. The electronics and then the neck need to be put together, but I think I want to do the electronics before I get the neck on there. So we'll do the last couple things we can do, which is put in the strap pegs, strap screws, and then we will, after that, have to track down the soldering iron. Now, I have a decision that I have to make. So we got those strap pegs in there now, so that'll be good. It is time to make the decision if I'm going to use this 2-piece 3D printed pick guard and move over all the electronics, or if I'm going to just drill new pickguard holes for the PRS pickguard. I'm leaning towards that right now simply because the knobs on that Silver Sky pickguard are a real pain to take off. Like, it's actually infuriating how difficult it is. I was trying to get those off. So I'm leaning towards just screwing that in there, and then if I ever decide to change it, I can. The extra screw holes are going to be covered up regardless. So I think I'm probably just going to drill new pickguard holes and then use the ones that line up from the Silver Sky one. But this marble one does look kind of cool. So I don't know. You know, I'm going to think about it while I get my soldering iron. Alright, so it's that time. I've decided to go ahead and use the Silver Sky pickguard because I realized the 3D printed one, for some reason, the screw holes also don't align on that, so I have to drill new screw holes either way, which is really annoying. But if I'm going to do that, I'm at least going to make it easier on myself and not try to remove these annoying PRS knobs that are a pain to get off, and also have to move all of the hardware, which would be really annoying. So we're going to solder the output jack, get the neck put on there and some strings, and we're going to hope this all works out. Right, we're going for a different angle. Soldering iron is just about heated up here. Got the classic Crime playing in my headphones. And an Orange Vanilla Coke, because it's back and I love it. And if you haven't had Orange Vanilla Coke, which is called Orange Cream now, you should. Okay. Wire strippers. Man, the wire on this Squire is so small. You know, I didn't get any heat shrink or anything, but we're just gonna call it good and not use it. I'm gonna clip this because there's still old solder on this piece of the wire. And I believe I just need to do the black wire to the black wire, and then I'll do the red to the white. And that should have us in good shape. I know, watching me do electrical work is really something. It's not even really electrical work. This is just wiring, which I am not experienced in. I have soldered another output jack approximately one time. Twice. I think I've done it twice. But for some reason, my brain is not functioning well enough to twist these wires together very well either. Solder fumes. Okay, we're gonna hope that's good. And by good, I mean, we're gonna hope it works. Because, as previously stated, I've done this one time ever, and it was like a while ago. Okay, we're gonna hope that that works. It's together, it's soldered. Now we've got to get the pickguard screwed in place. Also, I don't know if I mentioned this, I'm listening to the classic Crime in my AirPods right now. And if you don't know the classic Crime, you should listen to them. I'm putting that screw in crooked, that's not good. But if you don't know the classic Crime, you should listen to them. They're not as popular as they used to be, but they're really good and they've always been really good, so you should listen to them. I'm listening to their 2023 album, Grim Age, which is a really good album and really captures a lot of the feelings that were there for a lot of us during the COVID pandemic. So, definitely worth a listen, I think. Okay, we're missing one screw. Let me double check the bag just to make sure. Yeah, there's no more tiny screws in here. Let me make sure it's not magnetized to a pickup still. Okay, well that's not there, so whatever. I guess we'll attach the neck with the new screws that I got. Soldering iron is off and cooling, by the way. I'm actually going to unplug it just to be even safer. As usual, don't mind my messy garage. I said that at the beginning of this video, but continue not minding it, please. Okay, let's get this in the neck pocket. Okay, screw holes look lined up.
little difficulty in there, but that's okay.
It's honestly possible that these screws are a little thicker than the ones that were originally used in here. But current Fender spec is these screws. They're number 8s, 1 3/4 inches long. So it's possible that they're slightly different from what they were using at this point in time. But if they're slightly bigger, that's okay, as long as they're not too long. And they're definitely not poking through the fretboard or anything, so I'm not really worried about them being too long. Probably could be using a bigger screwdriver for this, and my life would be easier, but I have my iFixit. I'll tighten them up with a thicker one when I get inside. Alright, so here it is. Assuming it works and all the electronics are correct, because, you know, it's me, this is basically ready to go. I gotta put strings on it. One thing is the actual just tuning head is missing from the low E tuner. I'm going to replace the tuners on this eventually anyway, so I'm not too worried about that. It's just going to be annoying in the meantime, but I can get enough of a grip on it that I think it'll be okay. Excuse me. Putting strings on will probably be annoying, but that's okay. But I gotta get strings on this thing, and we'll test it out. So here it is, all finished up, and it's great, to be honest. This neck feels awesome. I'm super happy with how this finish turned out. It feels really smooth. It looks really nice on the natural like wood finish, which is a look I love on a lot of guitars. The one funny thing, I have the old cream backplate from the guitar on this, and then all white front plastics, just because that's what I had available to me. But it doesn't really matter. It's only on the back. The two things that I don't think made it into all of that build process is soldering the ground wire from the volume pot to the tremolo claw, which grounds the circuit and gets rid of a lot of that 60-cycle hum. I had forgotten to do that initially, and so I had a bunch of hum and buzz and had to take it back apart and fix it, which was annoying, but it did help. And then, sorry you had to watch me solder. I've done that, you know, once or twice ever. And the soldering iron was being finicky and wasn't nearly as hot as it said it was. So anyway, I had to, a couple days later, re-solder the ground wire, but I got a much better solder joint on that there, and it's a lot better. And then the other thing is I replaced one of the tuners. So all the tuners were here and they worked, but these are just pop-on and off heads, so you can just pull it off, no screws or anything. And one was missing, so it was really hard to tune. So I had some other tuners laying around, and the screw holes already matched up and everything. And on the back, it looks the same. You can see from the back, these kind of look very similar. The only thing is this is kind of a bigger machine head here, which looks kind of funky, but if you're not looking too close at it, it doesn't make too much of a difference. And I'll probably end up putting some new Fender tuners on here at some point anyway, maybe locking. I haven't decided yet, just because I down tune a lot, and locking tuners kind of make that weird. The other thing is I have a new 5-way blade switch from PRS on the way, because this one, you might have caught it in some of the intro music, I'm not sure, but it is pretty scratchy and sometimes just cuts out entirely, which isn't great. It's manageable. I can work with it and play it okay, but I've got the new switch on the way to replace it and hopefully get rid of that problem so that it's not an issue anymore. Pickups, like a lot of Strat players, I have them darn near flush with the pick guard. Not completely, but pretty close. I really like low pickups for Strats. I like them a little bit higher on a lot of humbuckers, or like on my Filtertrons. But for single coils, especially Strat pickups, I like it real low. And I think that is a really nice sound. And man, this thing sounds great. It's the Silver Sky SE. Functionally, as far as the sound goes, it's the Silver Sky SE, and these pickups are great, man. They sound awesome. I mean, I thought about, maybe eventually getting like some Lambertones triple shots, or maybe some Fender noiseless pickups and putting them in there. We'll see if I do eventually, because these sound great. So I really may just stick with them for the long haul, but we'll see what I'm feeling eventually, because sometimes I'm just like, I need a project, I should buy new stuff and put it all together. So we'll see. Tremolo system works great. Haven't had any issues there. Though I'm realizing with a Strat trem system, I'm not using it nearly as much as I do the Bigsby on my Gretsch, just because I like on the Gretsch that I can kind of push and pull and get some like real vibrato wobble there, because you know technically all of these trem systems are vibrato systems. And Strat tremolos, it's kind of harder to pull back, and I like kind of doing that a little bit rather than just pushing in. So I'm not using it as much, which is why I don't have the whammy bar in there right now. But it's a nice thing to have. I like having that option in there, just because I do like vibrato systems. But it sounds good, and it feels really nice. This neck is super comfortable. My friend told me when he gave it to me that this is one of the most comfortable necks he's ever played in his life, and he's got, you know, an ultra Strat and a you know, a high-end Gretsch. Like he's got some nice stuff, and says this is still one of the nicest necks he's ever played, and I can't blame him. This thing feels great. The fret works just fine, and really smooth on the back. This is a nice neck. This is solid. So the only complaint I really had was I definitely have to keep like these rubber strap locks on here, because when I didn't have them on, the first day of me just playing it in this room, the strap fell off 3 times off of one end or the other. So I've got strap locks on there. Hasn't been an issue since. But I'm really, really happy with how this whole project has turned out. The one modification that might be coming, I'm looking into putting a push-pull pot in for getting like 7-way switching. So having a push-pull pot so that I can use the neck and bridge pickup at the same time, rather than just putting the middle with either of those pickups. So we'll see. I'm looking into it. I don't think it's going to be a super hard mod to do, so that might come a little later, and I'll update you guys if I do. Also, it's been a while. I realize I haven't posted a video in like a month. You know, life keeps me busy, and I'm sometimes a little unmotivated. So, but here we are. I figured this was the perfect thing to make a video on. I'm literally assembling a guitar. I won't say building a guitar, but refinishing and assembling a guitar. Building a guitar, I would like to at least attempt to build a body sometime soon. So we'll see if I get to that, but here's hoping. Thank you so much for watching this video. I appreciate you sticking around and watching this whole process. And I would love it if you would subscribe down below if you haven't already, and like and share this video if you don't mind. And even if not, just thanks for being here. Thanks for checking out the video. And I'll have some more stuff out sometime soon. I'll see you in the next one.